Shopping for a dog? Hi, I'm Rich with Off Grid Dogs Training and Behavior, and I'm crazy about you because you love your dog. As a dog trainer, I see so many clients with problems with their dog that all began when they went shopping. So be real clear, there are really only two options when you're shopping for a dog that you should even consider, and that is either buying a puppy from an ethical breeder or adopting, from a shelter. So two very, very different things. There's advantages and disadvantages, but the obvious disadvantage to adopting from a shelter is you don't really know what you're getting. So any dog expert will tell you that the shelter is going to lie to you. Not every shelter worker will, not every shelter will, but a lot of the time they're going to, exaggerate, lie, leave things out, whatever. They make up history. Oh, the dog was abused, all sorts of garbage. But you don't know what you're getting. You don't know the mom and the dad. You don't know the breeder. You don't know anything. You don't know the dog's history, what happened to it before you got it. So it's a big gamble. If you're going to do that, look for shelters that allow a trial where you can, take the dog home for a week or so before you have to adopt it to see if it's a fit. But before you go to a shelter or go anywhere shopping for a dog, you need to have a plan. You need to do research. You need to have a clear idea of what you're getting into. What kind of a dog do you want? What age? What breed? What, temperament? If you don't know any of these things, you're not ready to even own a dog. So don't go shopping for one, because as a dog trainer, I see over and over and over again the same disasters where people went to get a dog. Where most of these people get a dog? Because of impulse. It was an impulse purchase. They thought they just go look, and guess what? They come home with a dog. They had no plan, they had no knowledge, they did no research, they have no idea what they're getting into, and what they're getting into is a big, huge mess that then they call a dog trainer, a few months later, which is fine, except for one thing. It's not fine for the dog. The dog suffers, and millions of dogs suffer all over this country because people don't know how to shop for a dog. So you don't go shopping for a dog until you have a clear plan in mind. It should never be an impulse purchase, because you're looking at, for the next 5, 10, 15 years of your life, hopefully at least 10 or 15 years, thousands of hours of your time, thousands of dollars. So you should really care what dog you're getting and where that dog came from, because it makes all the difference in the world. That's rule number one, is no impulse buying, no shopping for a dog until you have a plan in place and have done plenty of research and have a good idea of what you're looking for and why you're looking for that, and not because it's cute. That's what 99% of the dogs that have problems, the owners just thought it was cute, so they picked it. They didn't think anything about the temperament, the health, nothing. Nothing. And now they have all these disasters. So that's one option, is going to a shelter and adopting a dog. A lot of people would never do that. And I don't blame those people, because they understand that they're investing the next 10 to 15 years of their life, thousands and thousands of hours of their time, hopefully, because if you're not, then you shouldn't have a dog, and thousands of dollars. So they take it seriously, and they want to know what they're getting. So they don't want to adopt a mystery dog from a shelter where they have no clue what the genetics are, whether that dog's going to have health problems, temperament, unbalanced mentally because of the bad genetics from poor breeding. They don't know anything. There's no way to know when you take a dog from a shelter. So, and it's a great thing to do. I'm not discouraging people from adopting, but just know what you're getting into. So a lot of people won't do that because they know and they want to have a better idea. And this is all just percentages because nothing's ever 1,000%. So I'm generalizing, but you can put the odds in your favor. You know, it's just common sense. If I go to do a lot of research and I find a breeder that I know is ethical and that breeder takes a lot of care about what two dogs they put together to breed because they want good genetics, they want to improve the breed instead of destroying the breed, which is what most breeders do. Most breeders destroy the breed, and I'll get into that in a second. But if you do the due diligence to find an ethical breeder, which is well worth your time because you're going to be with this dog for the next 15 years, hopefully, then you're going to find somebody who actually cares. And so you have that going for you. You have good genetics. You know the parents, you know the grandparents, you know the history of the health, the mental stability. Were these two, good dogs that bred and are probably going to have more stable puppies on average. So it's not just the health of the dog, where you're going to have all kind of health issues down the road with, everything from hip dysplasia to eyes to God knows what, but also, you're not going to get a dog that's half crazy. Okay. That's going to be a huge problem for you to deal with. So, you want a sound dog. So how do you know? So an ethical breeder, you're going to know very easily because they're going to be interviewing you even more than you're interviewing them, because they don't care. They don't let just anybody buy their puppies. If somebody's trying to sell you their puppy, you do not want that puppy because that is not an ethical breeder. If you have to convince them that you're good enough to buy the puppy, then you might be talking to the right person. But then you're going to go further than that. You're going to know, can you do an on-site visit? Because I don't want a dog if I can't do an on-site visit. What are they hiding? Okay, why can't I come see the mom and the dad and the puppies a few weeks before I am ready to take the puppy home, before the puppy's old enough? And by the way, if the breeder has puppies available, you probably don't want those puppies, because good breeders, their puppies are all taken before they're born, okay? And they don't even have to be real expensive, I got my last dog pretty inexpensively, but it was a really good breeder, and it's turned out really well. 7 years later, I'm very happy with the dog, but I did a lot of research, and my wife did. I give her a lot of the credit. So, and also, the breeder should be have good guarantees. Like they should be willing to take the dog back if there's a problem, or if you can't afford the dog 10 years down the road, they take their puppies back. If not, they're not an ethical breeder. So these are all things to watch out for. And by the way, the cost of the dog doesn't mean much. Okay, people will tell you, if you get a dog too cheap, it's not any good. Yeah, well, in some cases, if it's a famous breeder, it's not going to be cheap, it's going to be expensive. But you can find good ethical breeders that are still somewhat reasonable. But the worst dogs that I have ever met are some of the most expensive dogs. And they're all from pet stores. They're all puppy mill puppies. Do not ever buy a dog from a pet store. We've known this for 30 years. They'll lie to you. They'll tell you, oh, it's the Amish. Guess what? Amish think dogs are livestock. They run puppy mills. So your puppy got trucked down from, and I made a whole video on this, so I'm not going to go into too much detail on it. Just do not buy a dog from a pet store. Do a little research. It takes 2 seconds to find out what's going on. So, yeah, you want to find an ethical breeder. That's the only option if you're not adopting. If you're going to, go buy a puppy, then you've got to find an ethical breeder. You can find, once you determine what breed you're looking for, you can find breed clubs that might steer you to ethical breeders, but there's ways you can find out. It's very simple. Some of the things I already told you, how picky are they about you is your first clue. AKC papers, they don't mean anything. The AKC is this far from, I don't know if I'm going to get sued, but let's just say I don't put a whole lot of stock into AKC. Okay, so everybody has AKC paper, so that means nothing. They give them to puppy mills. So, sure, should they have them? Sure. Of course, they need to have them, but don't think that that means it's a great dog, okay? Because that doesn't mean anything, okay? You could have the worst possible dog, and it could have AKC papers. So that's no badge of honor or nothing that you're looking for. What you're looking for is the health history of both parents, and going back at least to the grandparents. You want to make sure, again, that you've done your research. You know what breed you want. You know what, whether you want a male or a female. You know why you want that breed. Why you're going to be able to have a good coexistence with that type of dog. And make sure you can provide for that dog. So, do a lot of research, have a plan, research your breeders. Let's see, I had some notes over here. What am I forgetting? Yeah, the cost of the puppy means nothing. I just came from a client with a disaster of a puppy. I mean, it's half crazy. It's got health issues out the wazoo. They just paid $6,000 for it at a pet store, puppy mill. All the pet stores get their puppies from puppy mills. All of them. Don't believe me, just do a little research. It's easy. I covered that. No impulse buying, remember. On-site visit. Yes, there was one thing I didn't cover, I wanted to cover. Beware of popular breeds, okay? Any breed that's popular immediately, within a few years gets destroyed. And what I mean by that is, and it's what I was just talking about. Most breeders are not ethical. Most breeders are just in it for the money, okay? So they produce very inferior dogs, both mentally and with their physical health. You're going to have health problems. You're going to have mental instability. It's going to be a very difficult dog to live with. So, much less train or anything else. So, if you decide you want the same kind of dog everybody else is getting, then you're going to have a whole lot harder. You can still find a good one, but you're going to have to be that much more diligent, that much more difficult, and do that much more research to find a decent breeder. Because as soon as a breed becomes popular, they destroy it by breeding, millions and zillions of them of very poor quality. So, and this is a long history of this, going back decades. We've seen it with breed after breed after breed. They just go down the tubes as soon as they get popular. Right now, any dog trainer will tell you that most of the Frenchies and forget the health issues with, those dogs have all kinds of health issues, but they're crazy, okay? I mean, they're literally crazy. They got real popular. The bad breeders started breeding them. And so all of us dog trainers are getting calls from people that have a Frenchie that is basically insane, okay? I mean, good luck with a dog because it's completely a genetic nightmare and mentally cuckoo. And people are trying to, live with these dogs that they pay big money for. So, yeah, if you're going to go shopping for a dog, 2 options. Adopt from a shelter or buy a puppy from an ethical breeder only. And make sure you know how to do that before you destroy your life and the dog's life. And no impulse buying. Have a plan. Let's fight the pet industrial complex and get our dogs off the grid.